Uranus to the Sun, from Uranus to the Sun, from Uranus to the Sun, we are traveling on the rain.
Hi everybody, it's Matteo from the Cosmos Within Us, and this is first video of the Integrate That Transit series. And today we're going to be talking about the transit of Uranus over natal Sun. Because Uranus has just entered Gemini, this video is especially for all the mutable signs, for all the Gemini, all the Virgos, all the Sagittarius, and all the Pisces. And within this group, especially for those of you who've been born during first days, first week of these signs. But not only for you, if you're any of the mutable signs, this video is still for you because it is good to know what lies ahead. So, transit of the Uranus over natal Sun. Gemini are going to receive it or already receiving it through conjunction, as Uranus has just moved to Gemini. Sagittarius is going to receive it through opposition, Virgo and Pisces through square. I'm going to be talking about general principle for this transit, so everything we're going to be talking about is going to be applicable to all the mutable signs, and it's going to be a lot of knowledge about the solar principle and the Uranus transit in general as well. Let's start from talking about the Sun, because it is the most important planet in your natal chart in Western astrology, but actually without going super deep, without diving deep into the meaning of the Sun, what you can find in the internet is that the Sun is related with your vitality, your identity, and yourself. And these are all true terms, but they're also very, very broad, and saying that the Sun symbolizes yourself, it can be pretty much anything that pertains to your life and your person. So let me share a little bit about how I understand the Sun and how I approach it. So for me, the Sun represents more of a organizing principle. Some kind of a core values that we are using to organize our life around something. And these are the principles that we are going to use to really become who we really are. In Jung's psychology, that was the process of individuation. And the Sun, according to Jung, basically meant the process of individuation, absolute core term for Jungian thoughts, the process of becoming who you really are. And that is pretty much our life task, isn't it? So Sun as a organizing principle, as a lens that we are using to project the light from within, as we're using to something to bring it out, to bring that forward. That thing, and I'm saying that thing, but is basically who we really are and how we show up in life. So the placement of the Sun in our birth chart by the zodiac sign represents that principle. How are we gonna come to our own? How are we going to become who we really are? How are we gonna be looking for it, and how we're going to reach for it? Sun is not so easy to tackle down, actually. It's not like in a case of Venus, like it's going to be about your concept of love and relationship, about your friendship, and about your values. Or like in the case of Mars, this is going to be about your energy, how you manage your energy, how you channel it into action, also about your competitiveness and anger, sexual energy, right? The Sun requires certain a broader look and a broader terms to really understand it. But this is going to be the part that is going to be influenced by this transit. So as you can see, it's pretty fundamental one. There is an old Latin proverb, noscete ipsum, or noscete ipsum, which means know yourself. Might sound pretty trivial, but actually it has been a fundamental thought or of many philosophical lineages in ancient Greece. The concept of individuation, of becoming who you really are, was also absolutely key concept for thought of Jung. And according to him, that was pretty much our life task, to know yourself and to become who you really are. And that is symbolized by sun in your birth chart, that principle. Now let's talk about Uranus. Uranus is associated with individuality, freedom, rebellion, becoming a rebel, uniqueness, and future. Uranus is also higher octave of Mercury. The Gemini and Virgo are actually ruled by Mercury. So Mercury represents our mind, our logical mind, our reason, the kind of mind that gathers information and data, that is coming to an answer by a process of step-by-step deduction. Uranus represents higher mind, we could say. It represents insights, sometimes downloads, sometimes instant flashes of intuition. So this is a very different type of receiving information or coming to an answer. So the Uranus transit is an opportunity to refine how you use your mind and how you approach your process of thinking as well. We mentioned uniqueness, and I would like to spend a little bit more time on that. Uranus and uniqueness. Transit of Uranus are putting us in touch with the unique part of ourselves. That part that only you have. Your absolutely unique signature that you have in everything that you do in life. In every relationship and in every action that you take, you leave some kind of an energetical mark. You have some kind of a presence, right? So that unique signature, that the component that only you have. Uranus transits are known to really help us to understand what it is and to get in touch with that part of ourselves. And also, of course, to bring it forward. Another term related with the Uranus and with a uniqueness is freedom. Because in order to bring that part forward, we need freedom. Freedom of what? Freedom of be who you really are. And here you can see how these two planets, Sun and Uranus, relates to each other, that there is a common ground there. And that's why Uranus transits are so important, so vital for realizing your solar principle, of realizing who you are, or at least become more aware who you really are in the process of know yourself. So freedom from everything that limits us from who we are, everything that holds us back from it. So there is a creative and destructive part of this transit, and it's very important to remember how to handle this energy, especially when it comes to destructive part of it. So not to get too much into a destruction, that all those changes that Uranus is showing us, it's pushing us towards, can be applied without harm, right? The transits of outer planets, including Uranus, work in a certain way. They are designed to trigger certain changes in your life. And you can think about Uranus, in this case, as a person who was always present out there. But now this person is actually coming to your life. It's knocking at your door and wants to talk to you. And it's asking pretty difficult questions. And it's telling you different things. It's showing you things from a different perspective. Or it's like the person is giving you glasses, right? It's giving you a glasses and says like, hey, try it on. And then you try it on, and then things look a little bit different. You see things differently, or you see things that you haven't been really paying so much attention to before. So it definitely does change your perspective, and it is of course good to look through these glasses because that's what this transit is for. But again, be careful when applying these changes. I mean, do apply them, but again, just the Uranus energy can be pretty like strong and demands the changes being done right now. So all this thing has to be handled properly. During this transit, you might not want to cooperate with other people because Uranus is pretty self-centered planet, and this energy is coming through your life. And this perspective is needed at that time, but becoming self-centered and looking at yourself and your life and others through Uranus glasses doesn't necessarily mean to be selfish. So again, it's important to have this distinction. It used to be, especially in charts of women, that particular transit was commonly known as a divorce transit. It's not anymore. But let me talk about it a little bit because it helps to understand the general principle. Why it used to be a divorce transit and why it's not anymore. Because the relationship between men and women has changed and the role of women has changed. So the women are embracing much more of a solar principle than they used to, right? The principle of leadership and the freedom of self-expression. The person, the woman under Uranus transit, under this kind of a transit of the Uranus through the sun, well, suddenly you're dealing with the person that is much more of their own, and the person is insisting on their own personal freedom. And in certain setups and among the certain type of man, this was something very difficult to handle. But it shows you a little bit how this transit works in general, how this energy works, that there is a part of it that doesn't really tolerate a resistance. It's just like, this is who I am, and if you have a problem with it, then it's your problem. Because Gemini are going to receive or receiving this transit through conjunction, this might be like the easier way for this energy to come into your life, kind of appear itself in your life, and easier to integrate it. In case of a Sagittarius, there's going to be opposition, so that's much more a confrontational aspect. Is more like being confronted with what Uranus is bringing or with this energy, and maybe getting into a dialogue with it and trying to find some common ground, which might not be so easy with the Uranus. The square, like in case of Virgo and Pisces, it's most dynamic aspect, but the squares they propel so much growth and the evolution. So whether you're Gemini, Sagittarius, Pisces, or Virgo, you will receive or already receiving the blessings of the Uranus. And this is a very good transit. This is a transit of liberation, right? For example, the transit of Saturn or the transit of maturation. The transit of Uranus are really transits of liberation. And this transit helps you to free yourself from all those things that hasn't been served you very well, and it gives you the energy to do it. It gives you the courage, and it just brings so much clarity. It crystallizes what is important, or what is essential for your life to move forward in a more integrated, whole way into well-being. So I wish you all good luck. Thank you so much for listening. This was the video from a Integrate the Transit series. Please subscribe to the channel if you like the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.
From Uranus to the sun, from Uranus to the sun, from Uranus to the sun, we are traveling on the rays.